She had vitality, she looked like a fun lady, and I was in that particular stage in life where we weren't thinking of raising a family. I had to have a fun person in my life.
She was gorgeous.
And I was getting around to that, but she found it excruciating, so she had to say that. She was. And at the time I met her, she was brunette.
Oh, that's right.
And today she's a blonde, and I like it either way. It actually started with an animal group. Of course, when you get interested in something like that, you meet other people that are involved in other things and that you might consider important. And suddenly, you're engaged in what people like to call philanthropy. Somehow or other, I never consider myself a philanthropist, but people ascribe that title to you, you accept it.
Child help, the hardball, I've been on the hardball committee.
Most important, Phoenix Theater.
Phoenix Theater, we are now sponsored.
The truth of the matter is, Carol is a lover of Broadway.
We're right. Our big thing is live auction. And it's our big fun that we did in a show. We bid against each other. If they're not doing well, I'll bid, and then he'll bid that, and then I'll bid that. That is so much fun.
That started accidentally. Well, you know, when the HIV epidemic first hit, the reaction to it was almost medieval. You would think of the bubonic plague had hit. It was apocalyptic in the way they described it. And it struck me rather early. It says, what's going on? There's no critical thinking going on here. Nobody wants to solve a problem. And the important part of everybody who caught HIV was they were a human being that were down with a serious disease that had to be treated, that had to be prevented from spreading, and that is all a concern. I'm always surprised when they receive an honor. I received a few in the past few years, but I'm always surprised. I said, oh, really, why? You know, that's not what I do it for. I'm not looking for the honor, I'm not looking for the recognition. And, but when it comes, I do so, I accept it gratefully.
Okay, we just want to thank everybody for presenting this to us, and we're very humble and proud.
Bill's involvement in AIDS in Phoenix precedes Southwest Center.
He had been with AIDS Project Arizona. He had worked on that side of it. I worked with Body Positive I was there from the early years.
At the time, there were a number of people trying to do HIV work in a number of different ways. And Bill was actually one of the rare people in town who was a friend to all of the founders of all the various AIDS organizations. Used his wise counsel on how to do things and how to get along. He did so at a time when being out as a corporate lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona was not the safest thing for your own career, at great personal risk to himself and his career because it was a big unknown at the time. Some things we take for granted today were not so obvious back then, and so he was able to bridge the gap between a number of different worlds and be an effective leader and helper for the cause, although, again, as I say, with risk to his own career.
I think he's among the most respected members of the community because he's always there, and again, he's very clear thinking, and he's very dedicated, and he doesn't look for credit, he looks to make a difference. He was given an award a number of years ago, and the first words out of his mouth were, this award is for all of you, it's not really for me. I was just, doing my small part, and it's really all about all of you. And so that, he was instrumental, he was the leader, but he was just very self-deprecating about it.
Southwest Center is special to me because the years that I've been working with Southwest Center, and I've had so many patients that I have referred there. They really have done an outstanding job, and I have felt very lucky to work with them, and I'm impressed by all the things that they have done in the community. My patients absolutely love it. They feel safe while they're there. They feel like it's a place where they can go and learn, especially if they're newly diagnosed. They have what we call Pizza in the Basics, HIV 101. Are they going to need treatment? Can they just watch and wait for things for right now? These are the things that are so very nice to have that's available to patients, because it brings it down to their level and helps them understand how it affects them in their daily lives. I think that because we have such, thankfully, good, potent HIV regimens or antiretroviral drugs, that I think many people feel that we can just treat this particular infection by just taking a pill. People take chances then, even in later age when they're in their later 40s or 50s. So these are things that we need to reevaluate, re-educate in our community so that we can prevent these infections in the future. It really is a great honor, and I feel very lucky and blessed to have been nominated. I really have been, so thank you.
I get to do a lot of wonderful things. I'm working primarily with communities of color and with sexual minorities, meaning the LGBTQ communities, our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender communities, to mobilize around doing their own prevention within their own communities, building capacity within those communities to address HIV. And it is an exciting thing. For the first time in the 15 years I've been working in HIV, the faith community is stepping forward, and that is big for Arizona and exciting. The thing about HIV, it really is the most preventable disease on the planet. I mean, there's really no excuse for so many thousands of people, tens of thousands of people living with this virus, the many tens of thousands who've passed away. And the reason why it's become kind of the center of the conversation around human and civil rights is because so many of those folks who are at risk for HIV are our poorest communities, our most oppressed communities, and you have policies that don't support people having access. Generations of people who've been oppressed and are facing so many other issues. It's difficult to talk to a community about their sexual health when they're trying to figure out where they're going to find a job next week. So there's a lot of aspects to a person's life that are really genuinely tied to their risk for HIV. And once they get HIV, whether or not they're going to do well with it. So it's become a personal mission of mine to address all those issues that our people at risk for HIV and our people who live with HIV are facing on a daily basis. If we don't do something about those issues, then our outcomes around HIV will not change, and I'm a firm believer in that.